Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis, and welcome to Living the Wiccan Life. In our new season, we plan to bring you many more interesting interviews with some of the fascinating people from our pagan community. Among the interviews we have for you are Ellen Dugan, Mary Greer, Donald Michael Craig, Holly Allender, Yvonne Conway, Orion Foxwood, Kirk White, Margot Adler, and Shoshana Budapest. In this episode, we bring you interviews with Christopher Penczak and Deborah Blake. I hope that you enjoy them. Thank you. Hello, this is Reverend Don Lewis, and we're here today with Christopher Penczak, the author of many books, the most recent of which is The Temple of High Witchcraft. I got it right that time.
You got it right,
Very
yes.
good. How many books have you written altogether?
I believe that's my 12th.
That's very good.
12 books down and a couple in production right now.
And you have done that over the course of, what, 10 years?
2008, 8 years in
8
print.
years.
Probably started writing in '98, so about 10 years.
Very good.
Yeah, it takes a lot
You've been
longer
busy.
takes a lot longer to get published than from when you write it. At least the first one.
Yeah. My impression of your books is that what makes them unique is that they are a very coherent system that does not really depend on outside things to understand it, but makes everything part of a single whole.
Mm-hmm. I would agree
And
with that.
I think that's a very good thing. I think it's one of the things we most lack in our community. People who look at Wicca and the larger pagan movement in a coherent way. Do you want to say anything to that?
Well, I really try to write the books that I wished I had as I was starting out. There's a lot of supplemental suggestions because I don't want anyone to think that my word is the last word on any subject. But I know a lot of books would just kind of touch upon a subject or give you part of it, or you could tell, that they were speaking between the lines and not giving you the full formula. If you didn't have a teacher, you didn't really know what they were talking about. And I tried to do away a lot with all that in my writing. I really tried to give the textbook, and many of the books actually are the textbook for what I teach, and that's how they evolved. I don't usually start around and think, well, what would be a good topic for a book? I try to think of what's a good topic for a class. I teach the class, and then after I've taught the class for a while, then I write the book on it.
That's very practical.
Yeah, I try.
We seem to be plugged in the right hole. It's early in the morning.
I understand.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about the Temple of High Witchcraft?
Sure. Well, the Temple of High Witchcraft is the fourth in the series, the Temple of Witchcraft series, and it's basically my most serious teachings. I started out teaching just basically different levels of witchcraft based on the elements instead of doing the typical 3-degree system, because it's not a British lineage initiation system. There's no Penzackians or anything like that out there. Although some students try to use that, but what I really wanted to do was just kind of give the students a really good grounding in witchcraft metaphysics, from the inner work that started with the first book through what most people think of as Wicca and the ceremonies and the Wheel of the Year and the spellcraft. The third book really got into the shamanic aspect of things, and the fourth one is really the toughest one to tackle, and it's the toughest one to teach for a lot of people. Really gets into the influence of Kabbalah and ceremonial magic on the witchcraft movement, and really tries to show, well, these are the principles behind it, and these are the things that can serve us. These are the things that have influenced us, and to kind of be honest about where some of our things come from. I still think it's witchcraft, but there's a lot of phrases, terminology. There's a great debate now on, where did Gerald Gardner get his material, and how much did the Golden Dawn and Aleister Crowley influence him, and I think those are good things to look at honestly, and then if they're part of our tradition already, try to understand them and make them our own. And even if you don't, I always tell my students who take the class that the book is based on, even if you choose not to practice this way, it's really good for your education as an occultist to know about it. So basically each lesson in the book goes through one of the spheres of the Kabbalah, really through a pagan lens. It talks about the god forms that are associated with it. It talks about the ritual tools. It talks about the spiritual lessons. I'm really into, for the Kabbalah, the visions of each of the Sephira, and what are the virtues and the vices, and how you kind of go through that whole process. And then there's a different type of ritual that I associate with it. Some of the ones are the ones that are very familiar, like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. And not only do I teach that, but then I try to get into how do you deconstruct it. I'm strangely influenced, even though I try to be very coherent and ordered, very strangely influenced by chaos magic. It's the ethos of chaos magic, like take it apart. What's the skeleton of it? Why does it work? Why would you do it? And then if the flesh on it doesn't quite suit you, like the Judeo-Christian names, then how can you build it up so it fulfills the same function, if that's a function that you need, yet in a mythos that really works for you? So we deconstruct a lot of the rituals and really build them back up in our own personal mythos. And I give the traditional version, I give my version, and then I encourage the student to practice one of those, and then once they've got the idea of it, to figure out their own version.
I think you hit on a very important point, and that is that so many people in our community do not seem to look below the surface sometimes to understand why certain things are what they are.
Right.
And when we were talking earlier about your work being coherent, I think that really is the quality that makes it coherent.
Thank you.
So we're here at Pantheacon,
Yes.
and you were saying earlier this is one of your favorite events.
This is one of my favorite events, hands down. It's probably one of the first festivals I've done as a speaker when one of my first books came out. So I always have this nostalgia. This was like my first adult business trip as an author. But it was a lot of fun. It's a really great place. It's one of the few places that I can go as a speaker where there's 40 other really high quality speakers. Some of them are authors, some of them are local people who you wouldn't know unless you came here. Yet the class consistency, the level of education, the participation, it's all just really great. And that's the education aspect of it. Then there's a whole social aspect of the festival as well. So there's parties to go to, and there's rituals that are more fun than introspective. And there's just a little bit of everything for everybody here, and you can have whatever type of experience you want. So that's what I like about it. Some years I come out here just to take classes and to study and to teach. And other years I come out here to meet up with friends and hang out. And it's really good, just a high quality. And it's great because it's an indoor festival, because the outdoor festivals often get rained out. So rather than slogging through the mud trying to teach, it's nice to be able to know I can go back to my hotel room and take a shower.
Yes, indeed.
The outdoor ones are fun too. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm down on them. The vast majority of festivals I do are outdoor festivals, and I love them. But it's nice to have something.
But indoors are nice too, especially in February.
Yes, I come from a very cold state. I live in New Hampshire, and we have miles and miles of snow, and it's piled up in my yard, and I'm very excited to be here where the grass is growing.
So what is your next thing?
In terms of releases?
Releases, tours, events, whatever you would like to promote.
I'm really trying to finish up the Temple of Witchcraft series. Originally it was supposed to be a 5-book series for the 5 elements, and I turned in the last volume, and it was immense. And so I had a nice little discussion with my publisher, who was very gracious about me not cutting it down, but we decided to release it into 2 volumes. So that would be 6 books, and I thought, well, 6 is kind of an odd place to end. So I ended up doing a book of shadows. I'm in the process of writing a book of shadows to inspire people to make their own more detailed book of shadows based on the series. So the 1 through 6 books for the elements are really going to be the practice and the theory and the techniques and the exercises. And then the book of shadows is the flavor in which I practice. And then so hopefully that'll inspire other people to see how I've put those techniques to use in my own practice. So that's the goal of this year. I've got Volume 5, the 5th book, Volume 1 and Volume 2 done, and they're in production now, and I'm hoping to get the Book of Shadows done soon. I've got a Love Magic and a Money Magic book that I'm working on to fulfill.
Everybody will love that.
Well, yeah, those are kind of gateways, though. When you have the sign up that says you're a professional witch, metaphorically or literally, the people come to you. They come for your protection stuff, which I wrote the Witch's Shield to kind of serve that need, and then they come for love and money and that kind of divination. So I wanted to kind of give some self-help tools for people who might not be as in-depth in the spirituality, but are looking to change their lives, and maybe that'll be a door to get them deeper.
Very good.
And the big news is that I'm hoping to actually start up, I'm in the process of researching and speaking to legal people and all that, to do some type of mystery school or seminary. So really the big role in my work is really training priestesses and priests. So I'd like to have some type of institute set up that gives them the legal support and protection, and I'm doing all that. But as a pagan, as I'm sure you know, as a pagan institution trying to deal with government agencies, it's tougher than you think. So I want to make sure everything is all set. So I've got a wonderful pagan-friendly lawyer who's helping me through it all, and I want to make sure it's all set before anything goes official. I don't want to do anything half-assed. So that's really the goal of this year, is try to really understand the logistics of it and get all the business going.
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, if people want to find out more about you, or maybe even contact you, would you care to give your if you have a website or so forth? The
website is just ChristopherPenczak.com, and it's Christopher, Penczak.com. And it has my contact info and an email that goes directly to me. A lot of people ask, who answers your email? I answer my email. I wish I had someone answering my email, but I answer my own email. There's forums on there for people to ask questions of not just me, but other people who are students of mine and people who are reading and working through the books. I do have a MySpace page, so that's a place where a lot of people get to connect with me as well. It's just the MySpace/Christopher Penczak. So those are all ways. I'm pretty accessible. You know, if I don't get back to somebody right away, it's usually because I'm on the road. So, but those are the best ways to find out about new releases, you know, touring information, class information. I teach around the whole country, so, you know, I'm probably somewhere near you.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
I hope that you enjoyed our interview with Christopher Penczak and that you'll stay tuned for our interview with Deborah Blake.